all the changes, there is just no way to put these teams. Sure, you're always going to have a community metric, but that's a fan favorite as opposed to a realistic metric we can draw from. It's time to kick this one off and find out what's going to happen on the server as NAVI and BBL starts out on Bind. Barriers up and a slow start from the side of NAVI. Spreading out in a default.
Yeah, of course, one of the things you really can do with this Gecko is go for some of those early insta flashes. Try and force people off the angles. You can, a lot of the time, retrieve that flash, although actually, Angel did. He had to go get it. It was a little bit of a walk, but he has managed to retrieve that. Not really going to lose anything too valuable early in these rounds, and almost just setting up for this initial take outside.
I think Angel's shift from the sky makes sense, right? When you're seeing that that flash can still be taken, used again, and you can then breathe out the round like that. The curious swap, I guess, from BBL to quickly mention was Pora and Reezy just flipping agents. I wonder if that's a comfort thing. We'll see how that develops as time goes on. But now, with 50 seconds left on the clock, and Navi very much tunnel visioned in, we're looking like an A push is about to come through. Viper utility already bypassed as they make their way towards the A site. Some space to be taken, but look how many players are still here. Tucked in the back corners. These are angles that you have to clear on the way through. And if not, stuff like that's going to happen. Kushner already on 2 and the third. The nade forcing Zipman out of position. Artis and Sugetsu left with it all to recover. And Artis does well to find the first, but the utility blocking him off. The shots coming his way, and the defuse already happening under their nose. There is no way to deny this. The round is truly in BBL's hands.
Yeah, great start for them as well. Again, something that we talk about with NAVI is sometimes these sort of attack side executions can go a little bit wrong for them, but a lot of this was just that firepower. We've seen it from Kushner, from Pora. These are the sort of experienced player within the mix of players that are coming up to that tier 1 in like Reezy and Elite, who maybe haven't been there quite as much. A solid way. And also, something I liked from Heretics yesterday, which we see in this sort of regard as well, fighting as a pack. I feel like that is something, especially in these early matchups, is just even just trading effectively and going back to something a little bit more simplistic can actually work out wonderfully for you.
Yeah, I did like the fact that for Navi, it's not like they left the corner wide open, right? Xiao does clear it, but just a little bit too slow on the aim duel. Turkish aim, always something we're going to talk about, and here it's already on display.
On Ascent.
On Ascent, yeah. Next map up, of course it's BBL's map pick. There have been a few teams that have historically been foolish enough to pick Ascent into a Turkish team, and well, they've got their comeuppance most of the time. For BBL, 1-0 start is perfect.
There's something you haven't highlighted. I was expecting.
I was about to get
you
there.
Even paused. Like, what's going on?
Little outlaw for Angel. It's good to see. In a round like this, it's perfect.
Ardis
it over.
has... Wait, so...
Ardis
sorry. You're telling me Ardis, the player known for his like jet, he's known for his chamber operator, is dropping Angel, an outlaw.
Look, I don't know what Angel's been cooking in the offseason, but this guy's obviously been practicing his flicks a little slow on the trigger.
I just imagine him going, you left me, now you come back, you know, you do what I tell you.
You earn it, you earn it. You are their upper, not ours. Fair play, Angel.
Let him in his place.
Yeah, oh, nice shot. So gets his head ripped clean off. And look, a lot of the guys are running light shields here, but it's mostly classics. Ability to fight, not great. Xiao upgrades to a ghost. You're still going to be at a huge disadvantage. Full shields for most of BBL. They just have to bide their time. These smokes will fade, and then they'll get much more open angles, but that's where Angel might be able to cleave some value out of this round and find a position to fight from. Good right click. Look, 10 damage is all they need to do to make it a one-shot. Angel capitalizes on the damage done. Pora's already down, but that's kind of where it ends. A little bit of chip damage. I was hoping for so much more out of Angel's Outlaw, but we'll see it again, I'm sure.
Well, I wonder if we might see it again immediately, because I'm just starting to look at the credits down on the side of NAVI, and obviously the trade-off of him investing that and giving Angel that extra little bit is the fact that now Ardis is coming into the round with some severely reduced credits. So he's going to actually be left, well, yeah.
Because he can't even afford light shields and the outlaw, you know, an expensive enough utility belt, and he's been burning them up. So obviously as well with Angel's flash, there's going to be a large period of time where you don't have those flashes while you're retaking the space to get the flash to then regen it back up. This means that Ardis has to use this utility when they're clearing a lot of these corners. It's expensive, runs down your economy, but I really don't mind this for NAVI. It was a good idea to have that outlaw, to give them a chance in the previous round. It hasn't worked out, and the downside is they've got one weaker weapon. They can play around that just fine, especially when it's the player that's lobbing those flashes that's going to be And obviously, it's not the same as a Sky, really, but it's helpful to still have Artis around there. Lobbing flashes, not using his weapon. Pick it up when you die.
Angel still looks like he's basically entry fragging. I love the fact that the majority of the duels you'll see, he's facing first and Zipan's following in second. It feels so incredibly backwards. I love the utility being used here by BBL. Forcing him into a position where he's clearly worried about being pressured moments after, so Zipan has to just give up. And that was the early portion of this round for NAVI was, okay, I want to take some map control in hookah. Well, they're going to have to do it again, except half the time's gone.
It was nice avoiding the molly, not taking that damage. They're still able to fight 2 players in towards hookah, but it's going to be tough with 3 on site with a Viper wall just about to go up, slowing utility in play as well. This is just making them a little bit more discombobulated on the way through. Flash, wingman at first to try and leave some more extra information. Good kills, Angel on another, and with Xiao backing him up, this is looking clean. They pushed into a 3-man site with Viper utility backing it up, and they made it look easy.
Hey, maybe they're giving Angel the rifle because he's the one who's actually going to be fragging. We saw Boo just literally yesterday, had been clearly on the aim labs for the entirety of the off-season. Lil Bro going to be sacrificed. As Elite is the last man standing, stuck in a corner. Still a nice shot onto Angel, but the guns are going to be retrieved and Na'Vi, they're going to have their first round onto the board.
Yeah, I mean, nicely done. I think they were in a prime position having made it through. I was worried with so many players there. That's where your weaker weapons, your pistols can really get that value, but they dealt with it very nicely, even avoiding ultimates along the way. Couldn't have went much better for them realistically, setting Na'Vi up for a round 4 where they are neck and neck in terms of the hardware and also the economy. And then maybe even a slight edge to the economy on Navi's side where they'll have something to work with next round, but whoever takes this probably goes on a little run for a few rounds.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might be interesting for the side of BBL is potentially trying to get his Ultima online. The stun, it hasn't connected. It's been avoided completely, but it is going to be Elite able to get betrayed. A dry peek into Pora, that's not something I'd like to do. Still got that crisp aim to give them the advantage. A little bit of a risk taken by Na'Vi and Angel, and well, he was actually the one with his ultimate online, so he actually had something that easily could have cleared that angle.
And with him out of the running, we've ended up pretty neck and neck, but the map control's the real problem. BBL blocked out. Oh, they are able to delay that plant a little bit. That's allowing some reinforcements, some damage done onto Zipan. This is starting to look a little better than before. BBL have at least got some control. That nade, though, will it push them out? It kind of pushes them, splits them, but no real after effect for it. Zipan flashed as he tries to use his ultimate, but oh no! He's missed the shot! The hitbox a little wider than he thought. Artis now has to clutch it all. The 1 versus 2. The defuse just about to be tapped. He's in the corner. They suspect it's safe gap though. He's inside the molly and they have no idea. The spray through the smoke and he hasn't got enough time. The molly eventually deals with him and puts 3 on the board for BBL. That one came a little close for comfort.
Only Na'Vi, man. Only Na'Vi can come out first day of the season and just kill yourself and then die completely to a Molotov. Okay, the second one actually wasn't a bad play at all,
look,
from Artis. It was the smartest thing he could do, but it's just so brutal.
No.
I think Zipan's going to want to forget that one. Either way, 3-1. Good start for BBL, and the weaponry a little bit shaky. Now, bear in mind, Xiao won off his ultimate as well. So there are a few things that could potentially pad the gap here, and you can see he's already going to be challenged. Saigetsu basically just walks up. Normally when you see this from a Viper, he's got his wall up. He's trying to be a little bit sneaky. That wasn't sneaky at all. That was brute force from Saigetsu. Well, the rest of BBL are going to be looking to try and find their way back in. The fact is they haven't had to use any utility, and now another goes down. Just to a Molotov. This is looking rough, and in fact, well, one by one, we're witnessing every single member of BBL fall.
And it gets even worse when you look at, Xiao on the way through, and Bathrooms picked up the orb, so they even have the orbital strike online. There's just so many ways that they could fall back into a safety net in this round. I think BBL, they were hurting the second they lost that opening duel, really. It's one of those blink and you miss it.
Opening duels.
Yeah.
He walked out.
Same second.
As said, like, normally when you're going for that sort of take, maybe you put your orb up, or you put your wall up.
You're like, space.
Oh, no, you put the wall up so that if someone swings you, you're not just in a 2 versus 1. Saigetsu just went,
I'll take it.
I reckon I can take him on. And the fact is, okay, in terms of our league, in terms of individual skill, he is right near the top. That guy who loves his tracker stats probably loves Saigetsu.
I bet he does.
Probably doesn't like me very much, but that's...
Probably doesn't like Angel very much.
Oh dear, yeah.
Well,
but you know what I heard from, I was talking to Milan, he actually said, he was saying this to Steel, that your peak physically is 35 years old, so Angel's not even his peak yet.
I'm not sure the stats back that up though.
No, well, I think his peak in maybe your physique.
Right, yeah. Video game reaction time. Look at what they've got. Rolling Thunder close to getting some ultimates online. Not that it's easy to farm Braver Elites, but they, you know, because they need 2 orbs, but they might be able to find something, especially if duels go their way. Could be a late round play for Navi. That orbital strike, dangerous. Artist one away as well. They could remove the utility, make it much easier to push into BBL, and considering BBL will be looking for a lot of reactive plays utility-wise, that could help out a ton in terms of seizing that site.
Again, we're seeing the Dizzy used just to try and claim this control. Now, we've already witnessed it once in this half, but BBL fairly happy to try and use the Breach util to fight back for this position. Move Zipan out of this spot. I wonder if we're going to witness the same thing once again. Very patient, tempered attack so far from Na'Vi, just leaving nothing to doubt. And that's the thing. After the last round, BBL are going to have some worries in their head of going, okay, we've got to be wary of somebody just walking straight out into a position and taking the fights. Stim Beacon down, but that stun just being held. And bear in mind, there's still a Rolling Thunder.
Solid Molly keeps back any reinforcements. Reezy has a tough task on hand. Zipban swinging around to blind side. And a shot through the smoke from Angel. That was a wild spam that just took down Elite. So you're missing so much utility. That was their Viper wall to potentially allow them back through and cut off these attackers. Now, Navi have their pick of post plants with an orbital strike. There's no real worry. And with only 1 rifle in hand, it's Kushner X who has to do all the heavy lifting. He's done well on the first, and Sugetsu's tagged. They need to be careful indeed. A weapon to be retrieved for Pora, but the time too low. And with Kushner down, this one's starting to feel like it's done, especially with the orbital strike banked. You know this round is not going your way. Question mark?
It can't be one, but he can do a lot of damage. This is such a ridiculous few shots from Pora, making things costly. Again, the economy is very good. In fact, every single member of Na'Vi goes down to basically just 2 players. And the thing is, that wasn't an investment. That was 2 saved guns, and then just everyone else just full ecoed. So they now come in with some extra orbs. Nearly all of the ults actually getting fairly close to being online. That was very costly for Na'Vi, and that's the thing. They've had a few moments where it's just looked a little bit shaky. Maybe just the first game jitters. I think we can give that to both teams getting back on this stage again. And I guess something we haven't spoken about because it's such a sort of hot topic overall, I think, has been covered profusely. Artist is back.
Yes.
He's back. It's good
It
to see him.
is good to see him on the EMEA stage, where he belongs.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't lose to Billy this year.
I heard he doesn't even know who plays for that team.
Hopefully they get to the event to actually play them.
Well, that's it, and it starts here. BBL have already shown that pound for pound they can take these fights. Round 5, not so much, but other than that, they've been looking good. Damage in the previous round was fantastic. Zipban sniped out of the sky, and too quickly for any trades to follow through. Brave does well to drop Artist. He can be recovered, but they've got to get out to the body. They've got to clear all these defender bodies in the way. Rolling Thunder still cashed in online, not needed. Sugetsu is down and out. On 45 HP, a spam and a nade closes it for BBL. The lead stays with the Turkish squad.
Yeah, I actually really like the way that they're playing this B site. A lot of the time, it's super reliant on, firstly, Elite being far enough away that his Viper wall will stay up during those executions. And the second thing is the stuns. I think Pora, even though he doesn't have the assists to really show for it, mainly because he's getting a lot of the kills himself, but he's been throwing in stuns that have just been causing so many issues for them as they try and enter into this site, that it's always quite staggered. In that case, you saw Zipan go out really early, and the rest of the team, they were still stuck behind that Viper screen on the other side.
Well, Viper's pit right away. No real chance for Navi to push through that. I mean, it's such a deep pit. But Elite is deciding to push up, keep the information. I've seen Xiao sitting outside of A. This should definitely cause the alarm bells to start ringing that pit might be pushed. But we can see that Navi have actually spread out even further. Now, after the pit's been down, shifting their focus to the B site, looking to seize some control of long. Angel should be able to get that flashback nice and easy, safely behind the wall. It's a free little bit of utility for him to confirm there's no one in the close corners, and he can focus his crosshair on the site. This is where there's a few players waiting, and most importantly, that wall. That's just going to keep them way back. Oh, it's gone down. So they have a small gap, but they're not quite ready yet. Spike's still making its way. Xiao there with the smokes. Most importantly, Xiao with the orbital strike. Nice kill by Pora. That's Artis down. He stood inside of a molly and a snake bite just to get that done. Evading death, 34 HP. He'll just about be able to keep himself alive for a future combat. They're watching for a flank right now, but with a Viper's Pit down, there's no need for BBL to go on flanks. They've got A pretty much on lock. They've left bathroom open. That's certainly going to be a worry in the next couple seconds, but it doesn't look like Navi have any intention of going elsewhere.
They've got so little time. Look how many people are on the site. 4 sat here waiting. This looks like it should be impossible. The spike is being planted. Little Bro giving it a go, but now they have completely run out of time and members to fight with. It is a solid hold once again. These gambles facing off for BBL, and I wonder if there's now just going to be that same sort of brute force pressure being thrown in. Again, though, you have to start looking towards those finances. Like, there is not a hell of a lot, especially if you look towards some of the lower players over on Navi. It's not really available for them to get a buy into this round. I think the main thing that should, or maybe will, sort of help them a little bit is the ults, because they're actually doing pretty well in that sort of scenario. Got themselves an orbital strike as well, as you can see within the screen. That is a beautiful circle as always.
Excellent,
I'm
excellent work.
Very artistic.
Yes. That's what the doctor said. And the A site, 2 players stacked up. It's your Viper, but again, we're seeing that same utility, that same wall put time and time again. The reason that they're putting it, though, is to fight into bathroom, or at least deny that control, but the control wasn't denied. Angel had snuck up, yet the first few shots don't land, and quickly BBL are able to punish that. Now, you're losing out on some of that initiating utility, but they still have quite a lot to fall back on. The problem here is weaponry.
This is sort of the classic Angel. It's like he's playing what we've seen from most people as a support agent, and he's not playing it like that at all. He is using it as a quasi-duelist. I'm going to pop flash for myself, and I'm going to go facing into these angles. And I'll be honest, it's not been working amazingly well.
No, it really hasn't. I think at the moment, maybe it's just coming down to a couple missed shots, you know? Right there, you had players not looking your way, but a very tight angle to fire back on. A risk worth taking, but the reward not found, and now we look towards the side of A, where a trade has been acquired. Brave, though, able to eliminate Zipback, buy a little bit more space. Orbital strike used, it's going to get them a plant. And that's about it. Quite a defensive, a turtling one, and in fact, they're not even able to get the plant down just yet, buying more time now with an aftershock down to 18 seconds. Players are getting close. They can even start to spam pretty soon with Xiao down. Oh, that spike's very close, but it is put down on the ground. Just about. Damage through the pit is massive. Sugetsu on 49, Artis on 77, and down goes the pit. Artis has to do it alone. It's only a 1v2 though. A very winnable fight for this man. We've seen him do it many times in the past. The players he's up against, Pora and Reezy, they're hitting their shots, they're looking good, and combining together. The stun didn't hit. The second shot didn't either. Nice one onto Pora, but Reezy gets the clutch. 6-3, BBL now doubling up on the rounds of Navi. This is one hell of a start to Navi's map pick.
Yeah, it definitely is a map again where a lot of the time we'll talk about the defensive side being that favored of the two, but I feel like there's been a lot of opportunities that Navi could have capitalized on. BBL, though, have done really well to sort of pull back a lot of these retakes, and that's the thing. I feel like their B site hold has been fantastic, and then their A site retakes have been very good, other than when Saigetsu just slammed them. So they have put themselves in a fantastic position, and already we're going to be getting ourselves a pause. And I'm more so just looking at this man here. It's going to be that aggressive push from Kushner. Bear in mind he has his ult online, so he can look to almost take that control early. Try and find someone out. Also has the operator. The rest of the team still going for that stack up, but hasn't really found anything. Bear in mind, they already spotted a couple of rounds ago with the Tiger. The Xiao was lurking outside of this position, so he's very happy to just wait and hold on to this control. And Xiao looking like he might be about to walk straight into the trap.
you know there's a good chance that Navi decide to initiate. Well, obviously with the flash there, but having Thrash, if they spot you in an isolated corner, you are not getting out of there alive. You need to make sure. Oh, they just heard the flash being taken back, but it doesn't matter. The shots through deal damage to Angel, but he's able to survive. There'll be no further punishment.
They're so patient, and they are starting to wrap back around. Bear in mind, Elite at least still has himself a snake bite to delay. But it's whether or not they face into this. Bear in mind that Angel also has Thrash. This could be perfect. I imagine it's going to get shot or almost immediately, and it doesn't matter. Cushion is going to land it anyway. An instant TP, but a trade out, and Elite's going to land the shot as well.
Zipan, 2 out of 2 of those ults have not gone his way so far. Struggling when it comes to the showstopper, but Zagetsu is making sure that BBL struggle with site control. Plant still not down. 17 seconds left, but it doesn't look like there's any further contention with Brave down. Smokes are out of the question. It's going to cause problems. Pora, only one flash to play with. Reezy already burned up his, but Pora's put it to a 2v2. A fantastic kill for this man. So he can now buy them a little bit more space to cross over, and he spotted both players, but that information came with a very heavy cost. Price tag more than they were willing to pay, with Reezy now having to try a defuse under the nose of 2 players. This just isn't looking good. Xiao still has a molly, but a post plant is not needed. Not with time this low. Instead, they will face, and wow,
there was a moment.
They almost wish they had that molly lineup, but it worked out. It's all okay in the end. Zagetsu from this position, he just doesn't let you down.
No, he has been one of the more consistent players so far in this game. Even still, though, a close round, and one that actually, again, leaves the economy of both teams sort of on the brink, more so for BBL. Even though they managed to win 3 rounds in a row, they were close. And thus it means that, well, you got a showstopper still, save from the previous round. But by the looks of it, it may only be a singular rifle here. Now, if NAVI can grind back a couple of rounds, this ends 6-6, you're looking at a very good half. So for the side of BBL, it's a must that they do some damage here.
I'll be looking for even more than just damage, but take a look at the minimap. Just one player on the A side. Smokes are down, and there's a question on Kushner's mind. Should he be sticking around? Should he be running, or should he be popping that ultimate? And it looks like that decision is being made, and a player was spotted, but the shot lands on top of the box. NAVI have got a team kill under their belt. This time it wasn't Zipan going down, it was Angel, but look, it seems recoverable somewhat. Just 2 players left, damage across the board, though BBL making it insanely competitive. And with Xiao just 1 hit to the Sheriff, it's now insanely close. Rolling Thunder for Pora. He's on his way to the B site. He knows that TP was pulled in just moments ago. Does he sprint in? Once he hears it's planted, that ult might come into play. But no. And with the snakebite keeping him out, it's a good thing too. He's just 65 HP. Can't afford to lose too much. There's the peek and the shot from Pora. Putting him in his place. Zagetsu's disrespected them in so many rounds, but not this time. 7 for BBL.
Yeah, it seems like those were the sort of 2 players you want individually to take that fight. You can understand the confidence in the Red Bull clutch from Zagetsu. He's like, okay, I've been winning most of my Angels. Let me take that 1v1. Let's know exactly where he is.
Down and out.
The fact is, though, it's maybe that molly kill. What did it cost? Everything.
Everything.
Angel going down, and Pora, he has just not been missing this game. We spoke about it with Boo. A man coming in that you don't necessarily expect to be right at the top of that board, playing more supportive roles. Pora's doing exactly the same. 16-7, lights out performance. Didn't even need the Rolling Thunder.
No, he didn't. That was the crux of it for me. I'm thinking the whole time, when is he going to use it? Where is he going to use it? Instead, he sits down, takes the headshot angle, and goes, he's going to peek me. And rightfully so. Zagetsu's had a good game so far, but not good enough to win out on that clutch to give Navi that extra lifeline. So to be 6-5 right now, instead, they're guaranteed to be behind moving into the next half. The question is, by how much? BBL search for an 8th round to close this out. They've already seen that it's an A hit. They haven't got players that close by. Elite might even fade back into the smoke with the utility in play, but Kushner's not going anywhere. What is that from Elite? So much damage done, and they're not aware of Kushner. He's coming around the back, taking every fight, and with Zagetsu low, 70 HP, surely not. It comes down to a fraction of a health bar. But BBL will find 8 rounds by some miracle.
That was unreal. Like, I feel like he deserved to win the round. That was truly ridiculous. The shots that are being hit by Saigetsu, as said, like, that man lives in the aim lab, but even still, fantastic half for BBL. As said, so far, this tournament has been the tournament of underdogs. We had Giants and Foot, two of our sort of like top 4 last year, going down to have to face each other in a lower bracket. NAVI, obviously another team that was up there last year. If it keeps going like this, they might be about to join them. It would be a truly absurd turnaround if our table was flipped almost completely. Gentlemate's going to beat Fnatic. Should we just throw that one in the mix?
At this point, you know, no, that's too far. But anything else,
I cannot get behind that. But anything else, sure.
At this stage, from what we've seen of BBL on their defensive side, now moving to the attack, a little bit more freedom for a lot of their players, a little bit more pressure on individuals of NAVI on their setups. I am starting to get worried. Again, though, with it being the opening match for NAVI, I know this is kind of expected. We all know this can happen. But they can warm up moving into this second half. We'll see if they've got what it takes to keep this game alive.
Yeah, this tournament format doesn't really give you much time to warm up, though. No. You 2 matches, you're out. 2 matches, you're in the playoffs, unless you're Fnatic, in which case it can be 1. Either way.
Grenade.
It's already looking pretty bleak. Pistol round in a good spot. Plenty of utility to try and deal with this. Wingman going to try and get anything, but he's not surviving that one. And now getting anyone onto this spike is going to be imperative. Running out of time to do anything, and now it's left all onto Artist. He's back on the block, but he's got to figure out where Brave is. Knows it now, but the time is ticking. The time is gone. He needs this kill immediately, and it is not happening. Another round on the board. Brave will seal it, and BBL, they're running away with this game.
If I'm not mistaken, Brave even got hit by one of those wall bangs, putting him down to a sliver of health. You know, there's been so many of these rounds where BBL have just edged out the victory by a slight bit of health, a slight couple of seconds here and there. That's all they needed. The extra pistol round victory with such a lead at halftime. Tom, the odds are certainly stacked against NAVI now, despite a good performance in the pistol from Artis. We need to see them answer up, not in the next round, because, well, they're going to be playing pistols most likely. BBL, 90% of the way to having 10 on the board. And then they're in the home stretch. Very worrying times for So Marcus in the crowd. Scrapping the content ideas for later today.
Oh dear. Don't make him cry already. It's his first day back. Like, come on.
They don't go easy.
Not on Marcus, at least.
Nor do BBL, from what we've seen so far. They've been playing one hell of a game, and this is the squad that we were hoping to see last year. You know, I think for BBL, not making it to international events and whatever, that aside, it's about being competitive on the server, and I feel like they fell flat in a number of games last year. If they can keep up this kind of performance, they've got something special.
Well, that's the thing. This was the proper rebuild. This is where the fan favorites, unfortunately, had to go. And the players that make things competitive have joined the roster. An afterplant that leaves very little to be desired. Dizzy going through. It has left players blind, but they just don't have the weaponry to compete at this stage. Being slaughtered by everything that's on the board, at least getting a few kills along the way. But Elite will be there to close it. I believe the extra rifle will be saved, and all that's really lost is the SMGs.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, perfectly reasonable, level-headed round for the side of BBL. 10 rounds on the board like we expected, and now the chance for NAVI to fight back. They're 1 away from an orbital strike. They're getting rifles on the board, and the investments are going to be, you know, not the best for BBL with some of the losses they've had. This is a true bonus round for them.
Yeah, they're going to play as a bonus. They're not going to invest into all of those extra weapons, which they probably could have done, but it's more so just to make sure that they'll have a decent purchase into the next round. The other thing as well, unfortunately for them, is you look down at the ultimate orbs, there's not really anything particularly close. They can maybe try and fight for Brave's ult to come online, but realistically, you see the challenge coming through on B-Long from NAVI, putting the pressure on super early on in this round, just looking to almost surround this area and just keep that control. They'll leave Xiao behind, at least for now, just placing smokes and not allowing any real positioning. But after the early show over on that A site, BBL are going to start making their way back. And that's the thing, when you find that control, you don't spot anybody, the Dizzy doesn't get anything. That's why you start rotating your players away. And playing into this in the late round, just look at that rotation already. You can see it on the side of Angel. He's going back towards that A side. In fact, it looks like Xiao's going to join him. And finally, that execution begins, but the fact is there's nobody here anymore.
This is so nice, you know, and it came off a little bit of utility from BBL, putting up the Viper Wall. Elite used all of his toxins. But the window that they opened has allowed the whole team through. Now the flank is being watched. Poor's managed to sneak his way into a position you might not expect. They've just taken the site, remember. They're clearing it, but only half. And now there's a rifle on the floor. They weren't going together either. Remember, we didn't just see Zipan here. Earlier on, Artis was by his side, but having split up, he'll now make his way through long. A flash close for Angel, but this player's closer than he expects. Luckily, Brave is dropped. Navi still alive in this round, still breathing with an orbital strike, eliminating Elite. No more Viper utility. Post plants now get a little bit easier as BBL are left with just Pora. They know where he is. He's already got a kill, and the sprays make it so easy to fire back. Well handled by Navi. They've lost one player this round, and considering the utility, the hardware that was brought in by BBL, that's exactly what we needed to see if they're going to bounce back into this half.
Yeah, even still though, it's a good sign for the sort of beginning stage of the half of BBL that they're able to almost play their opponents like that. I do think they'll be a little bit disappointed though that you're from a 5v4, you don't do any extra damage. Like, that's got to be infuriating. Okay, you bait out the orbital strike, but that's probably one of the reasons why Xiao was actually happy to leave. It's like, okay, we can clear a very big angle of this, and if they made it just a little bit more sketchy, they could have easily won that one.
Well, early strat here seems to be B-centric. 3 players here, flash down long, and a big push from Angel. But they've seen that there's no one here. He even used his own flash. I believe they had Artis pop one as well. So they were really looking to scrap for B-long. They've seen no one there, so the rotates begin, but not on time. BBL were a little quicker than expected. They're already breaching into the site just as Artis gets here, and it's too late to reclaim control over Lamps. Now they've got another angle to fight from. This makes it much more difficult for Navi to support each other. They don't need it. Segetsu's going off on site. A quick double and a real chance for Navi now as they can just slow it down, pop their utility, and make it so uncomfortable for BBL, forcing them into individual duels that they are not winning. At least they weren't. Elite has stepped up to the plate, but 3 more hostiles to eliminate.
Well, he's actually going to stick it. Just needing to get that plant down. They've been struggling to do that for the past minute. But eventually, they found it. Finally, Xiao can make his rotation after waiting patiently for a player to head through the TP. Artis hoping to find someone with a pre-fire, but that clock's starting to tick. They need to get a move on. Kushner just can't quite land the shot, and now Elite with everything left to do. He's been great so far, but this would have to be the best of the bunch. It is going to be another round of this climb back for Na'Vi, and that will also be the finances of their opponents put in the bin.
Yeah, excellent retake, and I think fantastic patience on display as well from this squad. You know, after this opening by Segetsu, which really buys them that space to play with, another kill for Zipan, then they waited for Xiao to rotate in so they'd have that extra smoke to play with. They'd have the molly potentially and just the extra body to go into those fights. And nobody overextended, nobody gave those kills away, and that's exactly what BBL were waiting for. Waiting for your opponent to make a mistake, not a bad idea.
Which, as said, no one wanted to play them on Ascent. Literally no one. Yeah. I think they were one of the only teams who actually take a map off Fnatic, right? It was insane.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And you know, considering how the previous season went for them, you know, it really just highlighted it again and again and again for us as time went on, over the years even. You just do not face Turkish teams on this map. And for Navi, they've taken the risk. If it doesn't go well for them on this, they're in a lot of trouble. But you look, they're 4 behind. They've got rifles. They have some ultis. BBL don't have anything. They're running pistols. And based on what we saw yesterday, that means they're going to win the game. Because teams were just destroying on these kind of buys. Add to that, it's a Turkish team, attack side, grouped together. This is where they get very, very dangerous. But it's the recovery that can come into play, something like Thrash. You get a little bit scared, throw this out, find out where they are, and grab none of them. Oh, that's a little awkward. Nice shot by Kushner as well, and now it's getting scary. Elite was by his side. The trades are going the way of the attackers, and Artis does well to at least pull it back to reality. 11 HP on Kushner, but a rifle retrieved for Elite, and he's had some really nice rounds so far.
The Spike's in a horrible, horrible spot. Like, just getting that out of this corner is not going to be easy whatsoever. But you're basically going to have to push into the rifles, and I don't really see how they're going to be able to get that back without basically eliminating everybody, and it just isn't going to be happening. 10-7, Na'Vi somewhat starting to stabilize after what was, again, a very shaky position, but you have to bear in mind as well, Showstopper used. The other thing, though, is ultimate-wise, it is still very much in BBL's favor. Viper's Pit, Seekers, Orbital Strike online. Everything getting closer for them having basically a BS round where you can just spam your ults and get them to 11.
Well, that's it. That's why they use the Showstopper, right? You wouldn't typically use it in a round like that, but when you look and you say, I've got 3 other ultis online and a Rolling Thunder that was, I think, 3 away at the time, why not? Why not? And look, it didn't pay off with a round win. Some damage, maybe some information that they got from how this A-hold is being played. We'll see. They definitely still want to challenge for it. Reezy.
Oh, Ziphan's having a nightmare today.
You can tell he's been practicing his Raze utility. That's what I love about it. Nice shot by Zipan. He might not have the util down. Hey! There's a Showstopper with a kill. And it wasn't himself. That's a good one.
Third time's the charm. That's what they say.
They got there in the end. It's one of the weakest ults in the game. Don't worry about it. Nice flash by Angel and a kill to follow up. Okay, Navi certainly have the reins now with BBL falling to pieces. Pora and Elite left to pick those up. And what a task that is. Great flash coming out of Artis from the site. It popped, it pushed him back. And really, I don't know what the plan. There is no correct call. Roll the D20 and see where you're going. The odds be ever in their favor as they decide to go to spawn. I left my D20 here. I really thought someone was going to steal it, but I was very happy when they didn't. See if they can steal these.
Just to check, that's just a 20-sided dice.
Yes,
right?
it is.
You're calling D20.
Custom Lord of the Rings one from the
Magic
set.
But yeah, no, that's really cool.
Thank you. Everyone always says that. Looks
Lauren
like
said that as well, didn't she?
She loves it. It might be able to take this weapon out of Elite's hands, but I don't know if they're going to quite suspect him to be that far down. 6 seconds left. Angel's on his way. Could be a weapon taken, and indeed it is. Now Pora wants to keep this in hand. Oh, great stun. They're all in an alley, but they're surrounding him. Damage, but that's not really the name of the game now with Navi's economy. For BBL, they wanted those weapons, and that's good denial from Navi.
Yeah, they need a combo breaker. And as said, they have the ultimates to do it. Everything other than the Showstopper is now online. We needed a replay. Honestly, we needed it. He deserves it. He's been learning as he goes. He's going to hate us for this.
100%.
He's going to hate us too.
I'm
If he watches this
praying
back,
nobody sends him these clips.
Let's put it this way. Doombros, I know you're watching this back. Don't show it.
Don't tell him.
It's our little secret, you
Think
know?
about it, you know, from a
I know you guys are like
perspective.
both Swedish and you should have some sort of like connection, but please don't do it.
Yeah, just take a look at what BBL are working with before we kick this one off. It's such weaknesses shining through from that side. Some ultimates, again, it's just not the round we expect to see that used in. Reezy has managed to get a plant for free. You can see the respect Navi are giving them.
I'm actually quite surprised they haven't thrown in the Viper's Pit here. But instead, it's going to be post-plant.
Post-plant,
and they
doubles.
do have a lot of post-plant utility available. Pora just almost waiting. He's going to use it immediately. Bear in mind, weaponry-wise, he doesn't have anything to really deal off this. The whole thing is on the time. It's delay. It's try and burn that clock down as much as possible. He's 100% dead, not even realizing that they've wrapped around behind him. Now, you see that orbital strike go through. Another few seconds burn off that clock, but they still have more to do. Already, Xiao is going to get himself onto the spike. He is going to go down. I don't even know if he did get it to half. That's the only saving grace. There's a small opportunity, but they have to get somebody on it right now, and it isn't going to be happening. They're going to take it just on the post plants alone. It is an ult spam, util spam round from BBL, and it is beautiful.
That was so good, man. The molly didn't actually fully get it either. It was half on the spike, so that could have been a disaster if someone just stuck it underneath. But then the snake bites come down as they get on it, take down 2 players who are just desperately trying to beat the mathematics, but stats don't lie. You will die in that snake bite before you get it half. We know that, and now you do too. Unlucky, 11-8. BBL looking unreal. What a round. Up for them. The Dominoes just need that little tip for Navi. You know, it's not a terrible position considering they did end up burning up so many of the ultimates. Still, post-plant Viper's Pit is so scary. For this squad of BBL, they will be looking to get that down on the B side. You can see right away, stun, blast pack up, although Kushner slows it a little bit. His teammate's not as close behind as he expected at first.
This is a full long play.
Is there potential TP? I mean, they're going to just burst out long. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, this is a huge gamble. They don't have anyone there. Luckily, when you have a breach entry frag like Pora, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Winning the aim duel again versus Saigetsu. And they are going to get this site now for free. A quick TP through with the majority of players spotted, smoke off into Hookah, and a little bit of a lurk being left behind from Angel, but they now use that final ult of the collection to get themselves into a strong afterblast. Ooh, the counter flash is not in time.
A nice try by Artis. I think there's nothing else he really could have done there. With Brave falling, could be something to report home about, but it's the problem is right here and now. Thrash goes in. Okay, you've got Kushner, but there's players close, ready to defend.
Oh,
they got baited
work.
in. A player sees, but the rest of the team ready to fight. Xiao's got no chance. Hit that TP, save the weapon, and hope you can win 4 rounds in a row. Otherwise, BBL will go on to their map pick with a map under their belt. This is a terrifying time to be a NAVI fan.
Yeah, and the thing is, this round again, it's something simplistic from BBL. Completely taking over that long term. Bear in mind, Navi knew from the knife that was thrown out from Artis, there was no one in Hookah.
Yeah.
So they were able to focus in on that angle. Saigetsu was staring down the barrel, and it didn't matter because Pora wins that opening duel, and the second they get into the close part, that's where they have their ideas. That's where they have the, okay, I'm going to bait for you, you're going to work with me because we know what ultimates they have online. Sometimes that's all it takes. Keep it simple. Do something to work off the trading. The fundamentals for BBL right now looking good. And wow, at 12-8. Their opponent's map choice, 1 round away from taking the lead and going on to the Turkish hometown of Ascent. Navi got to be sweating a bit.
A lot. This is a very tough position. Stringing together 4 in a row is not going to be easy, at least for BBL. Like we said, they won that miracle round. They won a round where they 5B, get the opening trade, and Viper's pit down, and perfectly bait the jump out of Hookah. Again, we need to see that normal round. Or, hey, just one more random. Save up those ults, do whatever you want. 4 chances to close this out. They've made their decisions, and the decision is to move towards A, taking down 1 on the way in. It's Zipat, a big player for the side of NAVI. Quite quickly, Angel's trying to get on their back, cause them problems, and make them push further forward into the defensive setup and play from Xiao. He's got some support up top. Artis primed with a flash to go through the smoke, but not really able to get much done. With Orbital Strike online for Brave, post-plant now is possible. Down goes Angel. It's Xiao and Saigetsu to do it all. Viper's pit, maybe if they can get close enough, they can find something, but he's stuck up in heaven and he's being watched on the way out. They want to take these fights. The second that they get contact on Reezy, the swing will come through. And I don't see a way that this goes towards Navi. The time already ticking so far. Brave still has Orbital Strike, and it might not be used. It certainly won't be needed. That time ticking away as Saigetsu blitzes in. The Orbital Strike won't even touch the ground. 13-8. Another upset for EMEA's kickoff as BB.
I think it's his first time in the VCT, so I don't know how he's going to cope with going a map down.
Yeah. Is that how you really feel?
No.
I thought so. I thought as much. Well, obviously, as you're seeing, it's going to be BBL mounting that attack side. Navi on the defense. And, well, you can see that the A side, 3 players there, not ideal because BBL have decided to run it up, making it straight through middle. Trapwire's going to catch 1 and a few wall bangs coming through. A wall bang to start this one out. Another potentially. Saigetsu's
so
after my heart already. It's looking good with Navi. Already 5 versus 3, damage done to Brave, and a completely shut out attacking side. They are just stuck here on the side of BBL, attempting to make their way anywhere, just isolated in the laneway. You don't see a push get halted quite so definitively very often, especially not in a pistol.
See, there's a high risk of me jinxing something here, but I don't care. I feel like Artis is going to come out with like at least 25 kills in this game. I don't know what it is. I just see him go back onto that jet, thinking back of like to the fish days. Like I know that he's just going to farm on this map, and that's the thing. It's like it's always been the frustration when you see him playing other things. It's not that he's bad at the KO or the Sova or whatever you have him on. It's just that he is unbelievable when it comes to this jet. I think him versus Kushner is going to be a very fun matchup, and I also think this is going to end up being a very defense-sided match because that's something I've learned from BBL. So the sort of expectations there to do some damage, of course, at the moment. Scoreboard is the wrong way around.
Is it?
Yeah, just for anybody who didn't.
I thought there was some background contractual changes after that.
Just so yeah, that should be on the other side.
Well, also, Navi, you're not attacking, so more so the names. But yeah,
okay, sorry.
We'll get
this
there.
should be here.
There you go. You're loving this tool, aren't you?
Yeah, I really needed to do that. I saw Steel do it yesterday. I was like, I can do that. So now I'm just highlighting their names.
I think you're doing just as good a job.
Was that production? Stop doing that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, for Navi, at this stage, on that defensive side, 3 Bulldogs, 2 pistols. It's a nice buy, a comfortable one. It lets them lose a few players to just the all-out aggression of BBL, the death ball that we saw yesterday from a separate team. And, you know, if you're BBL, damage the name of the game, but you've got to get 3 kills before they really feel the sting. Maybe just strip some shields, so they've got to reinvest those credits, but chances are astronomically low for anything significant. And I think you're getting to see that firsthand. Nice stuff for Artist. The key thing being, with him picking up so many kills, now halfway towards a Blade Storm.
Yeah, obviously that's one of the things that's happened over time is these ults have increased quite a bit for moments like that. So that you don't get him on like a round 3 Blade Storm, but
we've seen it.
The fact is they're handing him over the rifle, they're handing him over the Vandal, because that's the thing, he is genuinely someone that can just take complete control of this map. I think it was something that they had with CNET as well. It's just that ability, and that's why this map has been so strong for them. I think the one thing I'm a little bit sad about is that we're not seeing Xiao on the Fade. I think that was one of my favorite things about watching Navi on this map, is he was a Fade specialist, but it seems like he has switched more so into that controller role. For now, at least. Back to old school. Obviously, just the HUD being reset so that we can get everything correct, and what a start. Again, the dart coming out, I think that was a self-assist for Angel. He's going to throw that one out and get the kill with the wall bangs. Not what BBL were looking for. As I said, I expect this to be very defense-sided, but when you're playing up against what will be a slightly weaker buy, that's where you need to capitalize.
I'd love to see some sneaky beaky little wall bangs, and well, we're already off to one hell of a start on this map. Ascent is a home ground for it, really. Excited to see when we eventually get that Odin out. For now, Bulldogs, the bonus weapons in play for Navi as they attempt to fight over control of the site. But look who's down below. Sneaking around with Xiao. He's being caught. Good clearance by BBL. Good protocols on the way in. And no losses to report because of it. Nice and safe. You can't wallbang through that many walls, Zipan. Certainly not with that gun.
Spike play.
Considering they lost their jet early, the fact they got into the site and got into an afterplant is impressive. The problem is they've lost their lurk. They've lost quite a few players. In fact, Angel will eventually go down, actually peeking back in without too much of an option for a trade. The remaining 2 players stuck within the site. Elite this time, looking for a battle, but the trade is quick and leaves Reezy alone, left blind in the corner. Still manages to isolate the duel though. Turned into the 1 versus 1 and a nice attempt, but Saigetsu eventually will hit himself the headshot. A 3rd round in a row, a flying start for Na'Vi. Already looking like they're back to their old tricks.
Yeah, kicking it off with confidence, definitely an important factor for the Navi squad, considering how things went previously. Seeing some innovative plays, the trap wire and pistol, the recon to wallbang here. You know, a lot of things have been going right, and that's exactly what you want to see after how the first map went down. Now we move into round 4, and thankfully they've left BBL with not a whole lot to work with. Credits are going to be pretty low, a stinger, some pistols, and 1 rifle. It's in the hands of Kushner X.
Yes, this should
So far, yet to get a kill, but
yeah,
attack side of Ascent playing as a jet, he is going to have a few rounds where the impact is negligible.
You have to hope so, otherwise I think they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, this is a map where Navi are really playing comfort picks. Like, Saigetsu back on a Cypher, Artist back on the jet. Xiao can play anything, so I don't think that counts. Zipan on a KO, like, we always talk about his raise, but his KO on this map in particular has been phenomenal. So it will be one of those frustrating things where, as always, if this works amazingly well, you're going to sit there with Navi and go, you could just play basic stuff and you probably win most of your games, but
That's not Angel's style,
no,
man.
no. If it's not creative, it's not fun.
And in a way, I agree. You know, we were having the conversation backstage last year. There weren't as much variety There wasn't as much variety
We've already
as
seen
we've seen.
like Phoenix coming back on this map, so that's what I want to see.
Nice dash. Not much to be found, but again, it's about space. The nade has denied all of that space. Zipan just completely stopped that plan from working. Jet dash in, take advantage of the chaos by spilling into every angle and find the trades. You can't do that when you're going to die to a grenade on the way in. So well timed by Zipan, good reaction, and that's given Navi all this room to breathe.
30 seconds left.
Now what? 30 seconds left. You got to try and push into a site where there's still shock darts available. They could even, well, they could get a cage in here, but the fact is, Sagetsu hasn't moved because the spike could still go rotating back in the other direction, but the rest of the team are all stacked up. At this point, it almost gets to a position where BBL just have to die. Just go in to make sure that you get the extra finances. A nice couple of shots, but there's Artis once again. I said at the beginning, I think he's going to farm on this map, and already he will now have that Blade Storm available. 7-1 after just 4 rounds. And there has to be a response soon, Mitch. Otherwise, I do feel like this is going to get very far out of control.
I have to commend Zipan because you talk about his agent. I think it's such a good highlight of it. Just the fact that he has that timing, like what a timing it was, Tom, to be able to put that nade down. I love to see it. And it's even going to push BBL to calling a pause.
A Blade Storm available and is currently setting up over in towards that short position. So he's likely to do something very aggressive.
Yeah, this is somewhere that Artis can really stick it to you. Take your early game plan and make sure it does not work. Smoke off, and he's right down in the spawn. Out comes the frenzy. Brave is so low. He knows he hit a few of those shots with the blind. That forces him right back. Unfortunate for Artis not being able to capitalize. Now we look elsewhere on the map, and the B site under threat. Trap wires ready. Some more wallbang setups by the looks of it. Both of those traps are in the laneway as they make their way through. They'll be able to catch them, but nobody there to spam back. Angel good onto Kushner at least. That's something to work with.
Yeah, I believe one of his trips is to just catch somebody in the air.
Boathouse,
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It's literally above to catch the jet. It's a filthy idea. It hasn't worked out this time. They've also got the information, but it's going to be that spam back of the ultimate. Nice work from Reezy to make things a little bit more costly. Oh, Artis! He tried to finish his dinner from earlier on. Now it's left on to Xiao, but it's Reezy to shut absolutely everything down. And now BBL, after a quick paced push in towards that B site, they're going to have their first round on the board.
Yeah, I love that. Picking up the pace is what we needed to see. I was a little worried about the traps in play, but the dash went the other way, right? You didn't have the updraft dash over site, which is really interesting. It's not often you see those trap wires here being put to play. I think on Split was probably the first time I saw people actively try to counter those updraft dashes, and now a little bit more depth added to it. I don't know if they will have even spotted that on the way through as well. That's the other, they didn't break it, so.
No.
But it's not like you'd be running into it anyways. So you're free to leave it once that updraft is used. 4-1 BBL, quickening the pace again, this time towards A.
Yeah, I like it. Try and put the pressure on. Sagetsu's here, but all of his trips are on the other side of the map. Xiao looking to try and support him. A little bit of surprise in the corner, but it's not going to do much. A singular kill, and then the trades are quick from BBL. A couple of players already here. The operator of Artis the first to take the pick, and he's going to land the shot, but do they know there's a second player? I don't know if they've seen Kushner still within this corner. This is a nasty spot. They might even expect him to just be underneath, but he might not be needed whatsoever. Eventually, he's there to drop the man that is Artis, and now Angel. A late lurk coming back through. He's going to give away his position with this dart, just trying to find those couple of players. He knows that one of them, maybe even both, are going to be in that corner. The question is, can he find anything from it? It's going to be difficult from this position already. A move coming out from Kushner just to switch his position back in towards the corner. He still has absolutely no idea, and the time is gone. There's nothing he can do at this stage to find anything. They're just looking to get out of there. Angel's looking to try and make it costly, and he will go down with the ship.
A valiant attempt with the shock dart. You know, I'd be impressed as Kushner is extremely healthy, but
he just dies now. Bing, bing, bing.
But it was worth a shot, you know. You can't blame him for that. But yeah, like you said, Kushner down below, the patience that he displayed, it got him the kill. I mean, you have to wonder how much of that is luck and how much of that is skill. Spraying through the smoke, catching the head. But yeah, no, you're right, Tom. He could see him.
That was his first kill, by the way, as well. That's how you get it done.
No comment.
That's how you're on the board.
No comment. Pora has certainly slowed down as well. He was leading the charge in the previous map on the breach. Hasn't been able to find his footing. But again, attack side ascent, I don't care if you have 2 players finishing the half with 0 kills, just about grinding out those rounds. So far, doing a decent job. Updraft dash, no. It doesn't matter, the trap's not there, but he's on his way in with a normal dash. Kushner already seizing the site, and now trapping 2 players in the boathouse. This is quickly turning into a disaster, but they haven't spotted the second player. They don't know that. Never mind, all good.
What? Oh, you gotta be fuming. Like, he just let go and insta-killed him. Nothing.
I didn't even think you could draw a gun that fast. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I genuinely looked at the kill feed and went, it must have been a teammate that I just didn't see. It's like, nope, that was actually just him. He let go of the spike, popped his head, and then went back. It's like nothing happened. Really good resurgence from BBL. And as I said, I had high expectations that this would end up being quite a defensive-sided map. The fact is already, we've started to see a fairly big response. And I think NAVI are just struggling to deal with the pace. They have that. Obviously the Cypher, and they have a little bit of utility that can be thrown out by Zipan in terms of the fragment, but they don't have much else available to them to delay. And if BBL are just going to keep running in like this, they're going to have to try and do something a little bit more aggressive.
Same smoke gone out here. Artis denied any control early on. He wanted to opt that angle and take down Kushner and Pora as they made their way in the middle. Instead, that's free real estate for the attacking side as they've spread into a nice, comfortable default, looking for any over-aggression as they slowly chip away at the map control. You're not going to see that coming through, though, from the side of NAVI. They are very patiently waiting and just jump spotting mid, allowing BBL to make a reaction. The problem with that, and I actually think BBL are making the right play and slowing it down this round, because this is where I expect NAVI to overreact, but they're not.
Okay, so Saigetsu has actually just repositioned his trip into the middle of the site. It was there for some sort of early contact. But instead, he's trying to catch someone and almost just play from the very back, clearly having expectations that maybe when he was on his own that he wouldn't be able to hold it.
He's moved it again.
Yeah, he's just constantly switching up the position. You can see it back in his inventory again.
I mean, obviously, this time he's got Artis, who's just rotated just north of the switch, so has a teammate with him, feels that little bit more comfortable. Trap goes down to cover market, but it's over towards the A site we're worried about. Hunter's Fury popped off for one. Close to getting the second, but Brave just about sidesteps. Xiao, though, is here ready and waiting. That paranoia has caught all of them. They're blinded up. The drop comes in. Angel's only good for one. The blinded faded, but Zipan was still standing strong. A shining beacon for this squad as NAVI push up to 5. That lead extended into 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of that helped by the disruption caused from Angel's ult, just being able to force them into some more awkward battles, trying to dodge that utility. And as you mentioned, the paranoia that came out from Xiao, he might not be doing too well in the fragging department, but definitely helping out in terms of the assists. Again, a response from NAVI, but you do wonder, do BBL, well, I feel like we can answer that. They are all building up outside of this B site, potentially just going to go for that fast-paced take again. It has worked well for them thus far. The slow and steady has not won the race.
Well, regular trap on the way through, and okay, knife hit. No more traps in play for a couple seconds, but the smoke won't allow them to deny. So traps come back up online. They're here again. They've heard them reactivate. It's at least some information. They fire a shock dart, grab one, destroyed. Lockdown in play, pushes NAVI way off site, and a TP in bypasses the other trap. They've got a clean plant and just assuring that there's no extra player there. This is really powerful for the side of BBL. Without having to commit resources to B site, they can focus on fighting elsewhere, and it looks like market is where they want that scrap to go down.
The fact is as well, they have still a lot of map control, managing to hold a little bit more passively. These crossfires are just being, well, deadly for the side of NAVI, and just one by one they fall. Again, the pacier, more direct strategy from BBL is what's garnering the rounds. And it's one of those things where obviously you want to have a more layered attack. You want to go, okay, we're throwing a fast round, then we go for these slow rounds. I think they've just got to keep running it down. I think they've got to keep going for these pacey strats, because if you give opportunities to players like Artis, for players even like Zipan, who's right at the top of the board, even Angel had some of the warbangs early, it hasn't worked. When they've gone really quickly directly into the site, they've avoided the stack almost every single time.
Oh, a look of surprise on Angel's face in the replay. things definitely not going the way they expected in this series, and now the map, the lead that they built up is under threat yet again.
How dare you? How dare you?
That's Zipan! He just did that too! The Hunter's Fury just about avoiding the players. That could have been a death sentence with Kushner staring down the smoke, waiting for the reveal. With Zipan out of the round, the A side is most certainly BBL's. And Tom, like you said, they just need to keep up these pacey pushes. It's working every time.
It's disrespectful to a point, but if they can't stop you, why would you change it? And that's the thing, NAVI have had absolutely nothing in response. They haven't been able to lay, even with the smoke, he still just went straight through it. And now Kushner is starting to come alive. He was quiet in the early rounds. Xiao, though, has somehow managed to make this one competitive. They already know exactly where both of these players are. They know that one of them is still in the backlines, one under the site, hiding within the smoke. But again, this clock is ticking. They have to get someone onto the spike, and Kushner just isn't missing!
Ridiculous. It's just ridiculous watching this guy play the game. He's only starting to climb up the scoreboard as well. I mean, this is
10-7 now.
Yeah, 10-7. He is since they quickened the pace, he has been delivering.
What was he like, 0-4? Maybe even 5.
Maybe 0-5.
He was definitely 1-5, I think.
Yeah,
but even still, and that was the one kill he got through smoke.
Yeah, that was the spam.
The luck.
Pure, no, you said pure skill, Tom.
Yeah,
Don't go back on it now.
Sorry.
All right, you stick to your guns, just like this is working on there in the background. The breathing techniques were on display, in and out. Control that breathing, keep the blood pressure low, and hopefully you'll be able to power through. Find the solution.
They're just doing it again.
That mental clarity.
They've left a lurk at least this time. One man sat towards middle that NAVI will have to deal with, but it is the same thing. The knife is going to catch every single one of the players on the way through. It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. Zipan has just been spammed out. I don't even think he saw an opponent.
Now, he's just getting first-blooded again and again. And I can't fault him for it. The pace out of BBL is just too much to deal with so far. Now they've got the site control, and it's pistols mostly on the retake. You can't have a whole lot of faith in this going their way. The spam's not working out for now, and as the smokes fade, that's when the rifle advantage really comes into play. Artis has been looking for someone for the last 50 seconds. Every angle he goes to gets smoked off. And this guy is just not having a good time right now. He can't see anyone. He went off mid, smoked off. He goes heaven here, smoked off.
He's gonna die immediately.
Yeah, good luck. I don't know. I'd love to watch that whole round from his POV. I don't think he saw anyone. Well,
It's just a
at the end.
Last round in
Guys,
the
I'll buy a
half.
rifle. I'll get some damage done.
It's like when, you know, two people walk towards each other, and then you both go right, and then you both go left. And you're like, you go that way, and then you still somehow keep bumping into each other. That's Artis the entirety of this round, just bumping into utility. And when he finally goes, screw it, I'm going through, instantly dead.
That's such annoying smokes coming out of Brave, and well, it's fair to say he's doing a lot more than just placing the smokes well.
Bear in mind, this was 4-0 NAVI. Just take that into consideration now, looking at the score as 6-5 on that attack side. NAVI historically were pretty good on the attack, but again, a lot of that revolved around that having the fade. I think it was very good for them in these sort of executions. They're going to have something very impressive. Otherwise, they're going into the lower bracket. They're going straight there.
It's just NAVI things, man. The lower bracket run is where they were.
When will I learn?
Founded. Yeah. This is it, Tom. When will we all learn? I went with you on the predictions. You know, we're mirrored today.
Yeah, which, considering I was completely wrong all of yesterday, is a really good sign for you.
I should have asked you first. I'm realizing that now, but here we are. I really had the faith in NAVI. Now it is
I'm
starting
all in
to
on
slip.
Liquid, you know.
Good. You should be. For BBL, this has been a tremendous display, already surpassing, I think, what most of EMEA will have expected from them. A victory still evading them, the double peak, but it's being double held.
This is one of the first times they've actually walked into the higher of the stack sites. NAVI have not been winning when it comes to the roulette wheel they've been spinning each round. Orb will be taken. That's going to give the null command available for Pora, but there are still 3 players sat within this site, ready and waiting. Brave, by name and nature, tried to TP through the smoke, and finally, NAVI, after what has been 1 round from 6, is at least going to make it 2 from 7. They'll even up the scoreline as we go into that second half, but the fact is, they dwindle after the first 4 rounds.
I bet this has NAVI sat on the other side just thinking, what is going on, Tom? And for them, they at least get to change up now, move to a different side, like you said, somewhere they have been comfortable before. And if we look at the majority of the success for BBL, it has been punchy, start of round, getting in their face, putting them on the back foot. That is much harder to do now that you come to the defensive side. So certainly some signs of life for NAVI.
Have you worked Turkish Valorant before?
Sorry, that is much harder to do when you come to the defensive side for most teams.
Yes, there we go. Okay, that I'm fine with. Yeah, because Kushida, the gloves are off. As said, he had a really rough start to this map. He's now right at the top of the board, and I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. Again, though, full stack up from the side of NAVI. Every single player sat outside B site. Shot dart. Pretty much perfect. Artist is going to take a lot of damage. He's going to go over the top. And he's just one-tapped. Just get finished off by Reezy. He's been having a great game. Already a second in this pistol round. Trying to deal with him is Zipan, and he will succeed. Pora finds one with the fragment. And gives Elite a little bit of chance. He needs to try and hold on as long as possible. His teammates are very far away, and Xiao's right on him.
I wonder for how many seconds was he just screaming, smoke me, smoke me, smoke me, smoke me, but it didn't come in time. And Sagetsu's even pulled it back onto Pora, just brave left. He already used his smoke.
Spike planted.
It's not blocking off an angle that's terribly helpful. They've got the crossfire potentially, the swing afterwards. And Sagetsu was a little early on that, but it worked out. With a third kill for him, the lead is back in Navi's hands, just about.
Yeah, well, that's it. They had a great start to this map. They've won both pistols, although I'm starting to learn that maybe that doesn't mean as much as it used to. A lot of teams have been able to sort of turn around games with a deficit in the series we've seen so far.
One enemy remaining.
Nonetheless, we see the NAVI purchase. 3 rifles. Low shields on every single player as well. So that does mean that these pistols, even though it's just classics, do have a bit more of an opportunity to do an extra little bit of damage. For Navi's sake, you can only, well, you have to say 2 players. They can lose 2 players, because then they can still come in with the rifles. They'll buy them up into the next round. It's not a problem for them. Anything more than that, BBL have done a great job.
Right here.
Again, though, you know, when you look at that value that BBL are able to find out of these kind of rounds on attack side, group up, push in, and force them to push you. Not quite the same when you swap over. One player already spotted, revealed on the way back. Smoke out from Brave. It's not blocking an angle they're on. Unfortunately, most of these players coming through short. Nice fight already. Artist, though, quick on the recovery. Although the ammo's a little low. It's getting too close for comfort, but in the end, it's cleaned up by Zipan.
The main thing for NAVI, always in those sort of rounds, you come in with the 3 rifles, you take the 3 rifles, and then you can buy up a couple more. That's basically the way that these purchases have worked. It's something they've been doing for the last year. The only thing that really comes through is obviously you're playing on the light shield, so now that your favorite gun's in the game, maybe that could impact it, but it's not being purchased on the other side. So that might be something that other teams are going to start to consider, going, okay, if this is a purchase that NAVI do consistently, we can now outlaw into round number 3, and you could wreck them. But obviously that's not something BBL have considered, because they haven't seen them play yet.
Well, exactly. And I think, especially with this map that's in play, the Outlaw is tough to use on some of these angles. Like, you're mainly trying to fight for mid. And so far, there's been such consistent smokes going down there. There's not really been long-range angles offered, so I can understand avoiding it in favor of some of these other rifles, especially.
Cover going out.
This defensive side from BBL. Void of any information right now, and it's not like they really need to move. That Killjoy setup's going to do work for them if there's any pressure towards B. It's mainly the mid control that I'm expecting NAVI to start to carve out. In the coming seconds, really. They've grabbed their orb, they've made a little bit of noise, but they haven't got any real significant control yet.
It looks like if they haven't already, I think they're going to be going back and maybe trying to claim the other one, because one more kill and that will get Zipan onto his ultimate and make this setup basically useless for Elite. Should expect there to be the alarm bot. It is the classic position for it to be in. 30 seconds left. This is where I normally expect Zipan to be around this mid position, but right at the back of the site, information garnered and a lot of damage being done, but no kills just yet.
Now, Lead and Reezy only have to delay this a couple more seconds as they're on their way through.
Easier said than done.
Both players get dropped. Yeah, the wide swing's not working. 10 seconds left, but the spike is now going to be planted. Damage done. Look at how low these players on NAVI are. That was the only full health player that's been taken down. Angel's on 4, Zipan's on 12, and Sagetsu's got 56. The problem is they've only got Pora to deal with. A gun from behind to take him out easily, and I think that market peak is gonna come through. No, it's very passive from Zipan. Because he's so low, they want to run this time down. It could have went awry. But in the end, Angel saves the day.
Yeah, if I've learned anything is that Angel, it doesn't matter what his HP says, he still believes he's on over 100.
He was 4 health there, right?
Full health, yeah, he had 4 health, yeah. A wallbang would have taken him out, but always feeling confident. Again, a little bit worrying now for BBL, because that's the thing with this purchase from NAVI that makes it so effective. They come in with 5 rifles, light shields, every single player. And now a 9-6 lead. The buy sucks, and also it looks like they're going to have a Judge no shields coming out of Pora, which I'm not sure where he's planning on using this. I guess short? Yeah, okay.
One of the more ambitious buys.
Yeah. It'll probably work now we've said that.
I suppose for the cost point, it is giving you a
Revealing
pretty much free map control. Guaranteed kill. A lot of the time that they make their way through, just about the utility bombardment. Maybe the drone. When we have seen NAVI move towards short, it's been droned out, but this time drone's making its way towards mid. Showing us that there's no intention of making this an A play, but you never know. They could swap back if they see too many players, too much resistance waiting for them there. And already that mid control certainly conceded. Now it's being retaken. They're rubber banding on this back and forth as they try to find somewhere clean to go. Artis is down to 5. Very easy kill to be picked up by anyone with a bullet to spare.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for them is the information is going to be found very late. This push up on A finally coming through, but ultimately the take is now coming in on the other side of the map. The clock being run incredibly low. That's the one thing that can sort of play into the hands of BBL, especially with this flank coming, but there is a trip available. Nice shot from Elite. The second time he's going to take Zipan down, but the trade's coming in thick and fast. Well, I imagine, yeah, that's been heard. There is absolutely, there's absolutely no way that Brave gets out of that position. The cam used as a distraction, and NAVI now getting up to double digits after what was a fantastic resurgence. It's now starting to really slip away. Same as before, though. 4-0, 4-0, both halves. Maybe this is where we get something from BBL.
It could be. And again, though, we haven't seen that extra element here in Ascent yet. It's been the pressure that NAVI crumbled under, the quicker plays that they couldn't keep pace with. Now, BBL...
So maybe he tries to get a little bit more cheeky, take a bit of a risk here and there. Again, though, early build-up outside B, and potentially a bit of aggression coming out from BBL outside this A side, because it has mostly just been B hits thus far.
A very late knife coming out of the defensive side. Huge information to be garnered. No players there. Knife early. What does that mean? Often that it's going to be a B hit. They'll get here just in time. Kushner's arriving on the scene, but with an op behind the smoke, it's not ideal. It's not a fight most people would want to take, so he pulls out the classic? Question mark? Instead, Reezy's the one to find a kill, but he's got some trouble coming his way. They know exactly where he is. Full HP, good flash, but not a good delivery afterwards. Reezy, some more work to be done. He only finds the one, making it a very tough play for Braven. To be fair, his second kill, Reezy, he still did well, all in all. But with Brave in a 1v3, Zipan's low HP might not matter too much.
Yeah, it seems like NAVI are almost taking a leaf out of their opponent's book. Just very direct takes, and unfortunately for BBL, they just haven't been able to hold off on this delay. Doesn't look like Brave's really looking to challenge on this one at all. To be fair to him, I don't know how he would have been able to get back in onto the site. As you can see, it's just going to be a lull in the action as he looks to try and hold on to that rifle. For NAVI, though, this has been a flawless attack side. Every single time the execution has been perfect, just making things really awkward for the players in the backside. And I actually think that at this point, even though it wouldn't be surprising to me if Na'Vi end up changing, I want to see some aggression into B. Like, a lot of the time when you have that sort of aggressive operator player like Kushner, sometimes you're going to have him in the B main pick. You're going to have him like going for those pushes to try and take some sort of control. And although I agree that's something that Na'Vi will probably be prepared for and wait for, he has been nigh on useless in mid. Like, they haven't really pressured him in that direction, and most of the time they've ended up on B.
Oh, much more frontal KJ Util on the B site. We might see that fight taken a little further up, a little closer this time for BBL, especially with Kushner already supporting and plenty of pistols in play. Destroying the cam inside of B main. Navi have that information. They know someone's close. They know mid is clear. Pizza empty.
Damn.
It's been the same. This is just sort of how. It's the exact same thing that happened. It's the exact same thing happened last time. And I'm saying that Navi breathed around the same way. BBL now starting to get a read. It was the same hit, taking Artist down to 5, but this time they've capitalized with a kill. And it's worth noting that's the only rifle they have. Brave has a Vandal. Everyone else is on a Sheriff. This is not a guy you want to see fall.
Oh, he's getting frustrated as well.
But Pora's got the rifle. He's retaking the control. It's a good kill, but it was the low HP player. You would have liked to take someone else, but it is also Artist that they've dropped.
Yeah, it's going to make things a little bit more awkward into the entry, but bear in mind there is a Hunter's Fury available for Angel. Same for the other side. They might want to be a little bit careful on the clock if
30 seconds left.
Planting with the time being so late for under pressure, but it is basically just a 1v1. The IGLs facing off against each other. Paranoia sent through to try and give a little bit of extra space, but it hasn't actually helped too much, and Kushner still within the back of the site. There comes that Hunter's Fury to try and make these fights a little bit more winnable, and it's going to connect as well. It's a team kill! Oh, that's such a huge mistake. It's cleared the site. He's accidentally cleared the site for Na'Vi. That was the one player they had to clear. Oh, that is heartbreaking for BBL. It looked like the Hunter's Fury could be a saving grace, and instead, I think it might be the close. Oh, that is awful. That's so rough.
I'll say one thing, Reezy's been a killing machine in some of these rounds, just a little indiscriminate at that time.
Oh,
5 HP behind the box. Look, man, Tom, they would have shock darted him. It's okay. It would have been easy. That sucks, though. Regardless of the potential, regardless of how much he realistically would have gotten done, they only needed to buy a couple more seconds. Oh.
It just clips him as well. It just clips him.
And it's not like he could swing out wide. It's not like he could jump up top. He was 5 HP. He was going to get killed if he performed any acrobatics. You also probably just trust your teammate not to aim it at you, but...
Now you look at the real danger, though. Na'Vi are coming in with 4 ultimates for this round. Okay, 2 of them are going to be the ones we talk about as the high-impact ults. Sorry, Kukuka. Either way, they are going fast. Straight through mid. TP rotation. There's going to be 3 players now in the back site here. Oh, maybe not.
Cancelled.
Sticking around. I guess they would have left the A site open, and because Na'Vi have hit the brakes a little bit here.
I like the idea from Reezy.
Second favorite gun now?
It's close. It's close.
Second most played gun, definitely.
It's just that the cost of the Outlaw, that's what helps out. You can get it every round.
Mitch is a cheap date, for anybody wondering.
Reezy was aiming for his teammate again. This time it's just the Odin, though, thankfully. Close is elite. Nice shot. Flashes in. It slowed him down, but he's able to peek right back out. No one can deal with Reezy. Okay, never mind. He's out of the game. Kushner and Pora.
1 enemy remaining.
Well, Kushner certainly not having a good time. Sugetsu is still mid, and they're going A. Wow, what a fake out of the side of Navi. More so just an adjustment that's made late into the round. It is a little scary with Xiao being semi-isolated, but Sugetsu's got the right angle.
What? What a way to end it. A little bit of style points for Sugetsu to hit that shot and take us to the 3rd map.
All I care about.
People were expecting to see it maybe a bit on Ascent. This probably is the map where you should most likely see it. Maybe that and Icebox.
I will say as well, let's pray for Artist that he has a better performance than Angel on Yoru, because if he doesn't, he will never hear the end of it.
Yep.
So for his sake, I really hope this is a lights out map, and already the challenge as Artis is on 1 HP. The wall did decay him slightly, but 12 isn't much more. Still manages to find 2, but Kushner says anything you can do, I can do better. He's already put them into a man advantage, and it doesn't last too long, as you can see.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like when it comes to pistol rounds, Saigetsu is the danger man. He's the one you have to watch out for. Well, they are watching out for him, but Kushner not quite able to take him down early. He's going to get another bite of the cherry, and it doesn't work out. Saigetsu winning that one. Now they know exactly where Brave is, isolated to the back of the corner. The thing is, he can isolate these jewels himself, take them 1v1, but look at the way NAVI are playing it. They are waiting to try and pick this one together, and eventually, there you go. Saigetsu will get over the line. Who's surprised?
Very well handled indeed. You can see the discipline as they wait, as they confirm he's still in that position. Never overstepping the mark. This is ridiculous. 1 HP, he was 12, which is effectively the same, and still manages to find 2, but Kushner really doubled up on it, finding so much more value. Just a shame that he couldn't quite match the might of Saigetsu. Pound for pound in terms of kills.
Look at his face. He's like, unfortunately did it. But that's the thing. If you're talking about just raw aim, like not even including any other like game mechanics or anything, just aim, I feel like Saigetsu might be the best in the EMEA. Like he's so good in terms of crosshair placement and hitting those headshots.
Not Boaster.
It's close.
It is a close fight.
It is very close.
Close battle.
I think I'd maybe just slightly edge it to Saigetsu.
That reveal won't pop off. Artis has got a rifle up close, but the pistols have the numbers to play with. A reveal down below Angel. He's trying desperately to make it out of there and push them through the wall. As they make it through, the decay makes it much easier to drop him, leaving Pora down to 65, but damage has already been done. A decent round so far, and with potential for more, but the rifle being retrieved costs everything.
Yeah, again, it's a similar scenario to what we talk about with their other bonus rounds. 2 players don't buy, 3 players do, the other 2 buy now. So it means that each time NAVI are able to get away with that, with just playing a couple of pistols, they get a bonus round that has 5 rifles. And that's the gamble that they're taking. If they lose 3, this buy now sucks a little bit more. But if they don't, then they get a bonus round that is more effective than any other team will have. So it is definitely a worthwhile risk, and it's something that BBL really need to consider, because now they're going into a buy round that the only real advantage they have is our shields are slightly better than theirs.
That's a big advantage.
Huge, yeah.
If you're against the Outlaw, sorry. But with 2-0 for NAVI, yeah, look, the position that they're in, serious chance to fight for so much of this control. I'm just eyes on Artis. What is this guy up to? What's the defensive Yoru ideas? And so far, like, it's not even for rotations putting in that gate crash. So much deeper gate crash than I expected inside of A main. It will be faked eventually just to try and cause some question marks to pop up above BBL's heads. And actually, after hearing that fake TP, Elite called it out, and we see everybody from BBL shift towards this part of the map. They're looking to find that advanced map control that NAVI have, at least in their heads, find that player in the corner and catch him by surprise. As they're going to find out, they're just wasting their time slowly clearing these angles.
The thing is, yeah, either it's a ruse or he's there and you get an early fight. So for them, it's probably worth it. Instead, yeah, they've just sort of wasted a bit of time, but they do get themselves the site control relatively for free. Good dart is going to give, well, what seemed like an easier fight, and in fact, Artis has decided he's got to try and get out of there. Zipan still in the back lines being pinged up, but there's not going to be much they can do. He might have to do a little bit of extra damage with that shock. A couple of low players, and now they're a little bit lower.
Still got another shock dart to work with. Snakebite on its way. That's where you combo. It's a little late on the land. Pora out wide on his low HP, and he'll be caught through the wall. Kushner in the same boat, 22 health, but he's got a nice pyramid to play behind. Elite's going to be tagged up too. Artis round the side with a quick kill, and the wall's blocking off Reezy, who's now all alone. He's got a shock dart, but he's been revealed in the corner, and they are staring at him. The firing squad eventually deals the damage. And NAVI, 3 in a row.
Yeah, really good retake from them, and just utility onto the site. Like, the fact is, the majority of that defensive side was stuck on the spike. They didn't actually have an avenue to retreat back into a more passive position. Also wasn't the greatest plant spot, I believe, either, so they kind of had to play that a little bit more aggressive, and that's where you just see, as you said, the Viper utility, the shot darts as well being thrown in, and Artis just basically farming up a lot of those kills, and he's going to have a very early dimensional drift coming in. Of course, for the other side of things, Kushner, he's going to gamble. Now, you might be looking at the rifle that he currently has in hands and the fact that his credits are down to 0, but he'll have a Blade Storm next round.
Exactly. You know, sprinkling in that rifle to give them a fighting chance in, well, in the fights. They're hoping to...
What?
So this is the same gate crash we saw, and I think we're getting the idea of why Paranoia popped in, fight off the back of it, but it has left Navi with a couple of losses. I think an innovative idea up against this kind of buy, maybe not where you want to use it, but it's worked out.
I think it was either Pora popped a flash or he blinded himself. Because Artis was completely blind as he TP'd in there, so I think it might have actually been that Pora pop flashed the corner, and so he just goes straight in and is as blind as you could possibly be. If that doesn't catch him, he probably does a lot more.
Well, that's it, yeah.
He's still got a kill.
Now he's Dimensional Drift in hand, Operator out of Artis that we've seen bought up. Now, it still has time to sell it, but only a few seconds. It looks like that's going to be pulled into play, and Artis is starting things towards middle, but look where his TP is. Right up there in the spawn, quick rotation to A, so he can be globally present with this op. But Angel will not be present at all. Smokes down and out. Artis is going up top. This is a nasty angle to fight into mid and catch the rotations, and almost certainly something that's going to catch Elite off guard as he goes to rotate. But Artis gives up the angle. Understandably, they don't have control there, and he'd probably be shot in the side most rounds. In this, though, we can see there would have been impact. There would have been that kill. BBL avoiding that without knowing, and they're still with a man advantage. But that op hasn't been spotted, hasn't been discovered, and that's a big unknown to have late in the round. In fact, look, he's just come back from this angle now. Artis is his ships in the night with this squad. He's going back to check, and they're not there anymore. Now he's making noise. They might even know that he's here.
The thing is, there's now nobody within
So
that site
unfortunate.
after not seeing anything for such a long time.
and he's
The
going
B site
A.
is clear. The thing is, they'll eventually get the notification off the back of the trips, but it's too little too late. They're finally making their move back around, but even if there was anybody here, they would have been reduced to no utility
30 seconds
with
left.
that null command. Hunter's Fury is going to connect. The thing is, Pora goes down, but obviously he can just be... Oh no, wait, did his null command run out the second that second pulse hit? That is cursed. He actually dies to that. It looked like he was going to obviously just be res, so it isn't even that much of a risk. Now, Artis going through. I assume he has a shorty in his pocket, or he's about to just try and TP away from there. Kind of stuck in the mud. No, he is going to go for it. Hits the shot, but still as an operator. This is not the weapon you want to have in this corner. His teammates slowly looking to try and round the corner. Even caught off by his own utility. It's so good, but they're winning every single fight. And now Brave, last man standing, meets the might of that op as well. Artis running riot, and a 5-0 start for Navi.
That was a headshot to close it out as well. Nasty stuff from this Yoru. And considering the fact that, what ability is Angel trying to simulate? Considering the fact that they weren't on site when that push comes through, they have to fight their way back in. And you even had Brave with a nasty position in towards the defender spawn. I thought that could have been something that caught them off guard, but it worked out perfectly for them. And like you highlighted, Tom, that null command was online, it was active, but it fades away just a second or two before. What a shot. A second or two before. And so the Hunter's Fury is able to catch the kill. That is a disaster.
That's really unlucky. That's really, really unlucky.
To be fair, though, Artis had like 3 opportunities to catch them off guard, and just sheerly off random timing ended up missing them. So there's also other ways that could have went against them.
He also got baited by his own fake out. Ah, there's a Yoru. Oh, wait, I'm Yoru. Oh.
You hear those steps, you start to panic. It's normal. It happens.
Who did that? Oh, me. Once again, we've got the push coming through. The thing is, I feel like Angel has got a little bit bored. He's gone all the way up the tube in the early portion of the round, not spotting anything outside the A site. And this means they can almost start to be a little bit more cemented within this B site. Viper and Cypher sat here. Not the amount of utility you want to go into. Now, you might be able to shut down one player's utility, and that is going to be the case, but the cage is still there, the trips are still there, and Saigetsu is as well. They are finding everything here, Mitch.
Well, you can see from BBL on the way through, there's too many angles to clear, and they get tunnel visioned in on Xiao, who they couldn't deal with on the initial dash. A little too slow, making their way through. So those players backside are able to catch them off guard.
30
The
seconds
fact that you've got Sugetsu there so early, now Artis is here firing off the op, and the spike's down on site. There's just no way to get this done, no way to wrestle that control back. It is a save, and that was called 20, 30 seconds ago by BBL. They're in trouble now, 6-0 down, as this round is most certainly out of their hands. And
10 seconds left.
A quarter of the map potentially gone already. There is a lot of work to do on this attacking side, somewhere that we've seen BBL thrive. In fact, the main highlight of the last map was their attacking side streak. It was the only highlight, and they've lost so much. They might even lose another rifle. What a disaster.
Oh, that's about as brutal as it can get, and well, right at the last second, Andaluthia flawless. Like it's definitely not what you want to see when you're 6-0 down. You don't get any damage, and you save, and you lose all of your guns. Like that is a horrible position to be in. And that's the thing, they haven't really had anything. Like, they've been playing so passively and so direct, similarly to what they did on Ascent where they were successful. The problem is they're just given too much space. Like last round, the halls were completely taken, pushed all the way down. You've got these mid pushes. You've got aim being taken at times. And then they could just stack up Viper and Cypher on one site because you're not pressuring the rest of the map. This time, though, they are going to go looking for this A site. It's a passive hold, but it's Artis again with this operator. They have struggled to deal with this man. And while this round, again, it's just one hero rifle. No hero rifles.
Well,
they got an op now.
They've picked up an op, so it's a worthwhile trade.
Spike planted.
BBL with a serious chance, and they're hitting sheriff shots instead of the rifle, instead of your...
Who needs them?
Your operator, yeah, just go on in, tap the heads, and a completely different sense of this game in this round, rather, compared to what we've seen so far. NAVI shut down, and they'll no doubt want to reset into the next. Now, they could try to fight for this with all the credits they've got. It's not like rifles being saved is a huge benefit. But it's starting to look like it might be too far gone. That time ticking, Reezy having his Hunter's Fury, but he's on site, he's being pressured, and the Sheriff might not land the shot, but the rifle finally does. 6-1, a sign of life from BBL at last, and it is on that low buy round, the quicker pace ends up working out.
Yeah, a lot of the time they've been going for sort of slow defaults into mid, probably to try and catch the aggression of Artis, but he's only really just been playing the Yoru as like, okay, I can rotate relatively quickly, I have a few flashes. Like in the early rounds, he was very aggressive in towards A main, but that hasn't really been the case. This time out there, they're going to bring Xiao back over to the A site, have a bit more of early round control, and it does look like they're potentially setting up for that same sort of A take, but the majority of players still sort of lurking around the rest of the map. Porus still has an operator, by the way. I think he's looking for that Omen of Angel who pushed it a couple of rounds.
Zipan as well is quite a quiet hero. He's 10-2 at the moment, doing the work round after round, while Artis is flying around, popping these operator shots. There's not a lot of free ground for BBL to take.
Take flight.
Now as we come towards a conventional rifle round, well, they've spotted Artis at least. They know as well that Viper's here. The decision seems to be to move elsewhere. They do not want anything to do with this. And I noticed just looking at Artis, no more gate crashes, and unless I'm missing a little icon on the map somewhere, he hasn't got one down, so there'll be nowhere to rotate too quickly for him at least. Luckily, BBL have cancelled any rotational plans and instead just add a bit of a mid-split to this. They want to challenge A.
Yeah, they need to try and clear out Xiao.
Huge.
He's dancing his way out of it. Will be able to survive, but he's on low HP, and they didn't expect that wraparound. Cushion are the one to take the space, getting in to the back of the site, but Artis has shut him down. Viper's Pit definitely going to make things a little bit more awkward, and with Elite stepping up, it now just leaves two men standing. Now, as you mentioned, the finances of NAVI. The shots and the shot from Artis. Well, I think that's just a parting gift, because I don't think there's any way they get back into this one. Although saying that, Paranoia has just been used from Angel. He still wants to try and make this costly. Elite, though, is just not missing a beat.
Okay, no panic, no worries. It's down to damage, really. They've spotted Artis. He might just get out of here. He might...
Can't use that.
He might just get out of here. No, But now they're surrounding him. Now they're fighting. I don't think there's a choice anymore. All right, Op's going to be dropped. And it's not like we're that close to the end of the half that those credits wouldn't be worthwhile. I mean, it's an expensive weapon, but evidently he just valued keeping BBL's economy in the dirt that little bit more, and understandable as they're able to bounce right back into a buy in this round.
Yeah, he's actually going to buy another one back up, so it's not even like there was a plan to...
This is like, that's outrageous.
If that was earlier in the round and they lose the Viper Spit for that, they're pissed. Like, you got, there's nothing else that you can say.
Literally Elite swinging and getting 2 kills because they're focused on that pit. Whether, I don't know if those players were throwing utility or whether Elite just diffed them, but if he doesn't get those kills, yeah, that really could have ended the round.
Look at the early aggression again. Already seeing it out from Angel, taking control in towards A main. It just allows them to push elsewhere. Artis is already going all the way down mid. Now there is a smoke in position. He can't go too much further. He'll TP to the back of site, and the pressure going to be put on Saigetsu and Xiao. They've got this double up again. It's such a filthy setup having a Cypher and a Viper in the same spot. Good for delaying, although it's actually a little bit of a whiff for Saigetsu. Doesn't happen very often. Still, though, so many members of this squad are here. Zipan, as you said, the silent hero, and an attempt to trade things back, but it's left all onto Brave. 1 versus 3. I think he just got spotted as well. He did, lands the first, but no more to be had.
Right back on the board for Navi, 7-2. That scoreline looking quite dominant. But we've seen those resurgences from BBL. The worrying thing there, you know, that could have ended much quicker. BBL on the way through, they walked into both of the traps, and there was just no punishment for it. Players just having their...
Direct in, which when you have a Cypher and a Viper, good luck.
Well, as these walls go up one more time, Navi 7 rounds to 2. We're coming towards the end of the half. This is where BBL need to scrape together a couple. That could have been awkward. Saigetsu was on cam, but Kushner doesn't go for a crazy wide swing. Artis, maybe even behind enemy lines in an unexpected position while noise is being made by teammates. He's got the angle.
Portal closed.
He's chosen the wrong direction. In fact, both players now backs turned to each other. They have no idea, and Artis turns at the right moment, catches Kushner, takes him down, now uses the ult to grab more information. With Porus shut down, there's not much else to be said because they've spotted Brave, and the flank coming around now from... Never mind. Never mind, there's no flank needed. It's all just Zipan. 4 quick kills. Stylishly ending that one, and not so silent in that round.
No. That one was just clean. Like, he's having a great game. 16-4, Artis 15-5. It's good to see this duo back together, and while 8-2, Navi, the visions of that first map are starting to just diminish completely.
Standing ahead.
And when you go back to what is left on the table, BBL, after winning 2 rounds in a row, they've run out of cash. They're going to have to play this one again with a hero rifle available. Obviously, Kushner once more will have himself a Bladestorm in the next round, but the rest is not pretty. And while you've been praying for the Outlaw, it's not that. They've gone for a Marshall instead.
That has upset me. But Artis, well, he's putting them in their place. Already opening it up.
That's a nice shot.
With the operator in hand, Zipban's being dropped. TP was used by Artis, so he's back in the spawn, has the angle up on top of bridge, but with the wall up, there's not much he can do in terms of denial. It's more so fighting his way back in, taking those fights. Put a TP to get him out safely, but he might not need it. Cutting through this attacking side.
Oh, they're going to hit each other on the lurk. Look at the position in mid, just waiting for Saigetsu. It's just filthy. They were so ready for someone like Brave to try and come in for the backlines and just spot him out. And instead, Saigetsu's like, you think you can lurk? I can lurk even harder, my friend.
And that's one of those rounds that's really tough to look at from the side of BBL, because if you come out and think, okay, what could we have done differently? It's essentially don't die to Artis. And they throw out that mid lurk. Again, that's just a fight that you can't really perceive happening. Here, Artis starts. Stop it! What? Okay, so he's hitting people through Viper's pits. Now he's killing you by shooting your elbow. It's not pretty.
I do like our new little zoom.
It's nice.
It's like Jakob's gone, the last one was cool, but now I need to make it look stylish.
Yeah. I heard that's what he's going to be doing all season for. Is he's focused on adding in those extra little flares, so
you know,
a taste of what's to come. I'm certainly a fan of it. Viper's Pit used here. It's on A site, moving in towards middle. Now, this position isn't bad to play from, but there's a lurk from the Cypher, and they bypassed this pit completely. Looking in towards the A site, wall down, plant in.
Spike planted.
Pit is essentially useless. I mean, it will at least guarantee double doors control for a while, but eventually that Viper's going to want to turn back and look towards A, and that is a nice sound cue for Elite to then start his lurk, if he even comes to that. It's very late.
Already again, a couple of players to the back of sight. Zipan knows roughly where they are, but not really finding too much value with it. And in the meantime, Pora's managed to collect the double kill. It's left on to Zipan. As said, he's been a hero throughout this game so far, but to win this one would need an absolute miracle. The time already gone. It's only going to be to pad the stats a little bit, and instead Pora will awaken from his slumber. A third round, the curse, all that really sits in Navi's way as they are 9-3 up after a fantastic defensive display.
It's going to be tough. And you know what? The big takeaway so far has been Angel's not going to be smack-talking Artist
To give you the extra position in.
all the Sentinel utilities on B this time, including the Viper wall. I mean, I think A probably is the right way to move things for NAVI. Much, much lighter play from this defensive side. And as you can see, they've reserved their Viper's wall over on the NAVI side. Xiao still has that to work with late into the round. And I just can't help but think that's going to be used to cut off A. Or they get close to B and realize there's more than just Viper waiting there. But it is just strange to see that much of a stack on B this early on. Maybe reading that NAVI would take that quick play. Now that it hasn't happened, well, there's certainly some worries. And yeah, NAVI are shifting towards A. Big play from Kushner, perhaps, reinforcing the site now with the Sheriff.
Pora hoping he'll catch something with the knife, but oh, he's so close to just taking out the drone completely. Instead, it will be Kushner to go down. He was the man to find kills in the previous pistol, even without the win. Reezy, though, has done well to at least do a little bit of extra damage. Shock Dart is actually going to tank Zipan down to low HP while he plants, but he's going to move himself back to give them a slightly more open plant, especially if Saigetsu's going to late lurk through.
They have no idea about Xiao, but they've closed the door just in case. Unfortunately, power has gone down. And good night, Xiao. Surely, no, he's dancing around, dodging the bullets as he goes. Snakebite blocks him in. He's trapped now, forced into a fight with Brave, as on the site, Elite swings wide. Xiao holding on for dear life, but Brave will win it. Through the wall goes Reezy, and down he falls. Navi keeping things nice and even, which is exactly what they want. The right clicks are not nice, but it gets there in the end, thanks to Elite stepping in to help out. Here comes Zipan. The shots are not landing to start with, but they do in the end, thanks to Artis in an unseen position. And that pistol serves as a nail in the coffin of BBL series. 10 rounds now on the board for Navi, and despite anything you could say about defensive advantage BBL could bring, it's going to have to be one hell of a way back in for them to dismantle what's been working for this squad so far. Artis and Zipan both on their A game. That's when you lose.
Yeah, basically. It makes it impossible. Like, they are two players that, at their peak, well, have won a Masters event. Maybe with a little help from the rest of the squad. I feel like Xiao had a pretty good event there. So did Saigetsu, but you know. Either way, 10-3. Again, we're going to see the same purchase. No surprises at this point from Navi. 3 rifles. If they get out with 3 people and all 3 guns, the rest really doesn't matter. They can take a few risks, a few gambles here and there. And on the other side of things, we're seeing, again, a switch up of that Viper screen to try and almost remove maybe a little bit of information or fake out that they've gone for some sort of mid-play. The fact is, though, there's not an awful lot to play with. The Sheriff's maybe a slightly heavier investment than you will normally expect in this sort of second round, but if you're BBO at this point, you almost feel like you have to try and take something away from Navi. If they're coming in with another full purchase in the next round, you're in trouble.
The early Marshall peek, a decent attempt to pick them off, especially with the knife close to ensure there's not going to be just like a shotgun waiting or a player with a rifle who just swings you in trades after your peek. Kushner going down. Look, this angle was held in the previous round, and Kushner more than ready for it to be occupied yet again. Pora, he is sticking around. He's still looking for more damage, and it's just not going to come through. Reezy, Shock, a little too deep. They've already bypassed it. They're closer than he's expecting, already touching the spike onto the floor, or at least attempting to. Instead, just swinging through for the fights afterwards, doubling down on the angles and leaving BBL with next to no chance, especially with this late lurk coming through. Sugetsu should catch him off guard, and well, the first few shots didn't land, but he was behind him. It bought him some time. 11 on the board for NAVI, 2 players lost, and all 3 players surviving have rifles. All good.
And now they buy 2 more. It's just the same thing over and over again. Like, it has worked out for them every single time. I think every time they've lost 2 players as well. It's never been like 4 and 1. It's always been they lose 2 and then they buy up the guns. It has been massively successful to boost their finances, but more so make these third rounds so difficult to play against. And on the side of BBL, well, this is it. Do or die. You need to start the comeback of all comebacks, and you're up against a dimensional drift as well. If that wasn't going to be a problem on the defensive side, it definitely will be on attack.
I mean, right now, I think Artis and Zipan have more kills than BBL, or it's got to be a close race at least. If you combine
We don't
them.
need to look.
No.
We don't need to crunch
no one
do the math on that.
It's 11-3. I think you can, there's many metrics to compare it, but that
Things
one will
go bad.
hammer it home. Nothing is working for BBL right now. And look, Bind was one hell of a good game from them. Ascent, a disappointment considering what we know of that map and this region. But here on Breeze, it was an unknown. And I think without a doubt, we can say Navi have come out of this looking slightly better. That was a whiffy start from Kushner, and in the end, he's traded out by Xiao. Numbers thinning out on that defensive side, and, well, Pora better be able to show up here.
Yeah, this is a real gamble of an angle.
So
Like, it's definitely an off angle. It's just whether or not, luckily for him, the second player is low, so there's actually a pretty good chance that he holds on to this, but the fact he's able to fade away through that poison orb is good. Paranoia will put him in an awkward position, and they are just picking NAVI apart, leaving only Angel left. Again, this comes down to just damage. Looking like it'll be nice and clean for BBL at least, but if he can take down 1 or 2 players, maybe this makes the buy in the next round a little bit more tentative. He's going to make his presence fairly well known. I thought he might try and be a little bit sneaky, but never
go
mind.
Behind them, use a TP maybe. No. Well, the round was already down the drain. And BBL have at least found that recovery, but it's a while before I start holding my breath for the bounce back to 13-11. BBL, they need to put this up consistently, and, well, Artis looks like he's going to be going for a bit of a lighter buy, just a shorty. And it might seem strange, but obviously he has his ultimate online, the Dimensional Drift, using that to get close to them, popping flashes, using his decoy to cause problems, and then hopefully blasting someone with the shorty to pick their weapon.
The other thing as well is if he helps Zipan get a kill, he gets his Hunter's Fury for the post plant, so this is definitely going to be a pace change. TP just to get out of there, running straight through onto the site, already going to be pinging information for his teammates, and actually Paranoia used to help him out. It's a freebie, a one and done, but that's absolutely fine. The rest of the team now garnering that extra space. Still 2 players here for the side of BBL, and the rest rotating in. Can't really do anything to deny this plant at least yet, but they're quick to go for the retake.
Oh yeah, already primed and ready once that wall went down. Stepping their way back towards the site. A good opening by Kushner. The ult used as well by Elite. Neural Theft, grabbing them all the information, and Sugetsu now stands alone, 1 versus 3, swinging out wide to deny the defuse, but not today. BBL string together another round. 11-5, still quite a ways to go.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the rest of the team for NAVI were just a little bit slow. Like you saw how far Artis manages to get in. Obviously, the ult and whatever counter utility was there meant that he was already in the site. I think that Angel managed to TP past it, but the rest was still stuck outside. So they weren't able to capitalize on the rest of the players while they were doing this. And because of that, BBL were able to get so quickly back in towards the site. I want to say as well that Elite is someone I feel like who has impressed me quite a lot. He's the youngster on the team, 18 years old, the sort of newly promoted from the Tier 2, back from Supermassive Blaze. Still, though, a long, long way to go for this game and, of course, his career.
Well, 2 rounds on the attack. It sounds easy, but as you're seeing, there can be some labor to that problem.
Poison's off.
For NAVI, this round more so than any, the weakness is apparent on Xiao and Zipan. The side of BBL not looking to take any chances, a much more passive stance from this squad versus what we've seen previously. And I believe the Cam can see any sort of a walk-in, Cam over on B now, can see any sort of walk-in that could happen on mid, so it's not like they need to be worried about a quick kill on Kushner. The only problem really is that Yoru is setting up, and we're about to see the space taken on the site. The flash was
unreal.
Perfect on the dot. And the site is now fallen, all because of that. Viper's wall about to fall, and as they look to catch the players still rotating in, Artis is around the back of site, picking heads for days. This one, there were weaknesses, that's for sure. But once Artis has a rifle in his hand, it's never over. Sagetsu and Angel have theirs, Xiao's recovered. And the time just seems to be too low already to root out these players. A crossfire on backside. Pora tagged down so desperately low, and Reezy doesn't last a second in that duel. Very well done by NAVI. A clean execute and an even cleaner close to the round.
Match point.
I said I'd see Artis get 25 kills. It was the wrong map. Evidently, Breeze. And it's funny because I think we've spoken to him before about Angel wanting him to play Yoru and him being like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to play it. I don't enjoy it. And now you're seeing him play it to a ridiculous degree. Like, he's been fantastic. Like, the set plays that they've got, like, they tried similar things with CNED last year. I don't think it had the same sort of synergy as what we're witnessing here from Artis already. 12-5. He's 26-10. And well, you mentioned potentially having more kills than his opponents. He also has more kills than the bottom 3 players of his team, just him on his own. Yeah. Angel has gone out of the smoke with the spike.
Now that right there, folks, that right there is an Angel round. They always win these. That's the worst part about it. I hate it. I hate that it's always true, but somehow they do it. Kushner, end it here, please. Stop NAVI from winning this one. Buy us another round. Good shot to start this one out. Still a player on the ground they want to bring back, but that's not going to happen. Not today. Xiao with another as Pora eventually falls. And so Kushner, Reezy, an elite. 3 versus 2. In fact, just 1. It's Artis. Needs all 3. Has his ult online. He can reposition, reset into this one, and oh, he's down to the classic. It comes so close to being an Artis triple to close out the map, but instead we go one more. Finally, it didn't work out. Angel's being punished for his ludicrous approach to the early game.
It's just even like you blink and you miss it. There's
Look
a flash.
go.
He just runs out.
See that?
Runs out of the smoke with the spike.
He's actually insane. And the problem is, genuinely, I reckon 90% of the time they still win those rounds.
They very nearly did. They very nearly did. Like, Xiao was like, I will not fail you, boss. He's like, I will take everything. You. The scary thing as well is that they have literally all of their ults online. Yeah, sure, no Hunter's Fury, but it puts them in such a great position. That's the only ult that's on the other side. Already, space being taken. This time, the ult's complete. The spike even is completely on the ground. And the man who is up mid is the only one who can go and retrieve it.
And he got past the cam. They were watching the cam for that exact reason. I mentioned it the other round, but this time he just TPs across, realizes the gap in their play with Pora down as well. NAVI are miles in the lead with a plant coming in on A, pressure on B. BBL don't know what the hell is going on. They don't know where to go. But in fact, Artis is not letting them go anywhere. He was sticking around, just harassing them, keeping them in position as eventually the plant comes down. It is a 5v3, Viper's Pit online, and unlikely to even be used, certainly to even be needed with Artis in his off position, but he's being dropped now. Maybe they start to think about the Viper's Pit, about even putting down their wall from Viper, just using any of her utility. There's a snake bite at least, that's something, but the round seems locked in. It could always slip out of their grasp, though. Brave goes down, Elite quick on the trade. There's the Viper's Pit. Finally, a sense of desperation on NAVI as they just want to end the series here. And the time ticking so low with the pit in play. No snake bite, though, thanks to it being used earlier, and it will not be needed. Sitback closes this one out. The silent hero certainly got loud in the end.
Yeah, it was a shaky first map.